Hi everyone, welcome to this update video. I hope you're doing really good, and we're going to be talking about Hurricane Francine. So Francine is about to make landfall in Louisiana. So here we are looking at it at a closer view of the satellite imagery. We can see an eye trying to form right there, but overall we have this massive blob of rain, those strong winds, and of course it is currently a Cat 1 hurricane. So those winds are actually up to 90 miles per hour with higher gusts, and additional strengthening is definitely likely before it makes landfall. But exactly that heavy rain has already begun in parts of Louisiana and southern Louisiana, and conditions will only continue to deteriorate as we head throughout today. So let's get on to the details. At a wider view of the Atlantic basin, though, we can see a couple other systems out there. We have two disturbances, one with a high 80% chance to develop, the other with a 30% chance, and there is a tropical wave that has recently entered the Caribbean. It is producing some showers and thunderstorms, and there is another one which is making its way towards Central America, currently not sustaining a whole lot of activity though. But for many persons in the Caribbean, it is a pretty sunny morning with nothing too crazy going on. However, as we head throughout the day, there's likely to be some downpours, especially this afternoon. So looking at the rainfall forecast here, we can see all these colorful shadings, and the more colorful the map is, the higher the chance of rainfall, or the more rainfall is expected for that particular area. So for parts of Florida and the northern Bahamas, especially Grand Bahama and the Abaco Islands, we can see some of those orange and red shadings around. So there could be rainfall amounts probably up to an inch or so today. Heading further south to the rest of the Bahamas and even Turks and Caicos, not as much color. So there could be a couple passing showers here and there. For parts of Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, even Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, there could be some periods of heavy rainfall today as well. Not guaranteed for everywhere within these islands, but it is going to be possible for some places. For the Lesser Antilles, especially the Leeward Islands, it is likely to get pretty active with some periods of heavy rainfall definitely possible, and those thunderstorms as well. ABC Islands not expected to experience too much, and parts of northern South America, Colombia, Venezuela, northern Guyana, likely to experience some downpours today. For Suriname, it's likely to be pretty dry, not much rainfall in the forecast. Headed to Central America, it is likely to get a little bit more active as we head into this afternoon. So that is what is expected in terms of the rainfall forecast. And as for the other two disturbances, let's look at them individually. So here we have the National Hurricane Center's graphical tropical weather outlook. So this first one, as I said, 80% chance of formation, and it's been loitering around there for some time. So eventually, as it is going to be making its way to the west and the west-northwest, it could acquire some tropical characteristics and try to develop into something. Meanwhile, this other disturbance here, at one point it had a high chance of formation. So this is expected to generally continue westward, but because of the dry air around, there is that more limited chance of actually seeing it develop. And speaking of, let's go on to that map. So here we can see it, and there is some dry air ahead of the system. It's not producing much activity right now, and we can see all those yellow, red, and orange shadings, which are indicating the dry air. And the more vibrant the color is, the higher the concentration of dry air. So it's not very plentiful right now in the Caribbean or even in the Gulf where Francine is, but it's definitely present in the main development region. So that is kind of the limiting factor right now for that disturbance out there. It's dubbed as Invest 92L. So the wind shear, the upper level winds are favorable. The sea surface temperature is very favorable, but the dry air is the problem that it is encountering right now. But as I said, that other disturbance behind is going to have that better chance to actually develop into something. But going into a bit more details with regards to Francine, let's head on to it. So this is the cone forecast, and we can see here that Francine is sustaining winds up to 90 miles per hour, as aforementioned, and it is moving at 10 miles per hour. So where we see that red highlight indicates a hurricane warning. So hurricane warning is in effect for most of the coastline of Louisiana. Who isn't under a hurricane warning is under a tropical storm warning. So for the hurricane warning area, there's likely to be those winds exceeding 74 miles per hour. But then for areas that are a bit further away, they're going to be within that range of tropical storm force conditions. So that is why those areas are under a tropical storm warning. Same thing for the coast of Mississippi and Alabama. And as I said, Francine is likely to strengthen a bit more before it moves inland later today. So it is actually expected to make landfall as a Category 2 hurricane with winds possibly up to 100 miles per hour. So we'll see how that goes. Would be surprised if Francine attempts to strengthen a little bit stronger than that. But that is what is in the forecast for right now. Either way, this is a very dangerous situation. So here are the key messages. The first one reads, there is a danger of life-threatening storm surge today for the Louisiana and Mississippi coastlines, where a storm surge warning is in effect. Now, what is that storm surge warning? The storm surge is the inundation of the coastline or coastal flooding caused by the winds of the system pushing all that water on shore. So that results in inundation, and the stronger the winds are, the more flooding is going to be experienced. Residents in the warning area should follow advice, including evacuation orders given by local officials. Damaging and life-threatening hurricane-force winds are expected in portions of southern Louisiana later today, where a hurricane warning is in effect. Tropical storm conditions are expected to begin within this area later this morning, and preparations to protect life and property should be complete. Francine is expected to bring heavy rainfall and the risk of considerable flash and urban flooding across southeastern Louisiana, Mississippi, and far southern Alabama and northern Florida through Thursday night. Flash and urban flooding is probable across the lower Tennessee Valley and lower Mississippi Valley Wednesday night into Friday morning. So as Francine is going to be accelerating further inland, it will be taking that rainfall threat with it a bit more into the states. So the thing is, though, it is going to be weakening very quickly because once it gets out of water and onto land, it is cut off from its source of fuel and energy. So that is what is going on with the hurricane, guys. Again, a very dangerous situation. Thankfully, it's not something very major right now, but nonetheless, it shouldn't be underestimated. So if you're to be affected, please get ready. And it might have already started going down for you if you're in southern Louisiana. So guys, of course, I'll continue to keep you posted on this, and I hope that everyone will be okay once the system is going to be moving in. So we'll see what eventually happens, as I said, as it relates to the intensification of it. And then there are those other two disturbances out there and a couple tropical waves moving through the Caribbean. So that is basically what I wanted to share with you guys in this update video, and I do hope that you found it to be informative. However, if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll respond when I have the chance to do so, and remember to always be weatherwise.